Hey everyone, this is Rocky from WeLearnChess.com. I was just playing some online Blitz and I got a fried liver, so I just turned on the recording. I lost like 30 seconds trying to do this, so hopefully I don't kill my time here. But let's see what we get. Okay, yeah, so this this bad bishop retreat that we talked about in other videos, and see if I can remember my line now. Okay, so I think I recommended bishop c5 here. And, it's an interesting move. Okay. So I don't think I looked at that, but there must be something wrong with it. Because I don't believe that it's working. So he wants to castle on next move, and he's stopping my queen d4, which is good, of course, for him. I wonder if I should just castle. Queen b6 is interesting. Queen b6, he castles. Okay, pinning the knight is interesting. Maybe pinning the knight. Just want to try to keep the pressure up here. I gotta watch this fork here if he tries to fork me here, because I actually don't have some of the normal moves that I have to avoid that. Alright, let's castle here, and then concentrate on trying to get some initiative. So I expect like either c3 or a3, yeah, to try to fork these pieces. Now that probably would actually be a fork, so can I get one of my knights over to f4? This knight is not looking great. Okay. I mean, he might win this pawn, but I'm not so much concerned about that. I guess I could try to drop my bishop back this way, because if he pushes my knight and then tries to take it, I'll start to be able to set up a pretty nice battery here, I think. So I expect him to push the knight. Then where should I go? Here. Yeah, maybe routing it to, so maybe like c4 down to, okay. Interesting. So maybe he wants to push this pawn here. Alright, so maybe I should have dropped this bishop back here, actually. Why did I not put it on c7 to try to set up the battery? Okay, well, I've got to get this knight back in the game, but let's see, what else can I do here? Try to... it's the only piece protecting this. Oh, man. Stupid Xfinity. I have terrible internet. This knight is doing a great job. It's also protecting this potential weak g3 square. I got tons of background noise, sorry. Okay, let's get another piece into the game. Add a little protection here in case I have to move a piece. I'd like to get a knight up here on d3 if I'm allowed to do it fast enough, but I don't quite see how I'll do that. Okay. This here allows a pawn push with tempo, but it also lets me reroute it to e5 and then back up here potentially. And it just keeps it closer to the center of the board, so I'd like to do that. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. Takes. He could probably get out of the pin. I don't know if actually, but this feels too right here. With this weak king just opening it up. This pawn's pins, this queen is potentially coming in here. If he tries to move the king, what about just putting this... Okay, he can move the knight now, that's interesting. Still, I think getting this in here... He can take this pawn. Let's protect this pawn first and block his pawn. That's got to be an annoying move. Okay, I can push this knight at some point. Let's see, bringing my queen in probably makes a lot of sense. Ah, wait, he's got... okay, can I defend this a little bit more? Just so he can't take this pawn. Or is that too slow? Okay, what about queen h4? If he starts to take this, if he takes with the bishop, maybe I take with the rook. Takes with the knight, and queen here. I don't know. I mean, oh, the queen is defending this laterally too. I didn't even see that. So yeah, trying to get rid of this this annoying piece is probably right. What about knight e5 to bring the knight in? That would then he can't even take it, right? I don't think he can even take this. It's just checkmate, right? Or I mean, he loses the queen or checkmate. King or the queen? Right. I was gonna check these mates and make sure I got it. All right, that's pretty nice there. Yeah, let's say a good game. I guess I don't do that enough. All right, let's get this running here. It's only a 6-minute one. And then in another screen, let me open up my. Okay, so let's take a look here at the computer analysis. I'm really interested in a couple spots. I thought his knight maneuver was kind of interesting. Okay, the computer analysis just popped up. Yeah, this knight here, that's an interesting move. I mean, he loses yet another tempo, but it keeps the queen out of d4, which would, you know, fork the mate and the mating square and the bishop. Also, it was kind of annoying later, too. I don't really know if queen b6 does much for me here, because he can just castle, and then my queen's kind of offside. So I think pinning was interesting. I mean, he can't play f3 because he would lose a pawn and totally open up his king, and he can't really castle kingside for a really long, or queenside for a really long time. So I was thinking about this here, like he could try that. So in the game, let's see here. In the game, he just castled, but I wonder if like trying d4 here makes sense, because if I just go back, then he can kick this knight, and then he's going to get this fork on my king and rook. I mean, losing the rook in the corner might not even be the end of the game, because I still got a lot of pieces attacking the two bishops and everything, but here I might be forced to take this, and then I wonder if he can try to simplify a little bit. Like, I wonder if maybe queen e7 is interesting. My pieces seem a little loose, but I don't think he can really do anything. He doesn't have a check here because of the dark square bishop, but he doesn't have a check here because of the knight. And if that's the case, like if he castles here, I could actually take this, because he can't pin my rook, or pin my queen with the rook, because he doesn't have any support for that square. It looks a little bit crazy, but yeah, that would win a piece, so I don't think he can do that. So maybe queen e7 would sort of get me a tempo here. Well, maybe he can just play something like this. I don't want to start simplifying. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if I could, but this knight can just move. Like, it can go to g3, it could even come out to, well, d4 is probably not good because I could probably pin it. But that's not what I'm looking for, simplification. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what the computer says about this. Let's just jump back over and see. I didn't have a blunder, that's good. But yeah, it's pretty clear that I missed something, because it's really easy to just lose these games if you don't attack right. I mean, I do it all the time. So I don't want people to get the wrong impression saying you're going to win every game when you pay this Polerio defense. But yeah, this... Okay, so they call this an inaccuracy. Okay, so what am I supposed to play here? Okay, so d4 was a better try here, according to the computer. Yeah, taking, okay. Oh, that was before the knight move, okay. Yeah, this pin, we saw that in an earlier video, bishop a6. Okay, so, yeah, okay, I played, oh no, I didn't play, okay. All right, knight g4. Knight g4. So hitting this pawn a second time. And if he castles, then probably queen h4, threatening mate and threatening the pawn again. And that looks pretty nasty. Yeah, when you can get the 3 pieces on f2, or sometimes it happens to black against f7, that's pretty nasty. So what would he have to do instead of castling? Again, d4, trying to block the diagonal, taking to keep the diagonal open. I can't move the pieces here, yeah. Okay, then trying to threaten the queen trade. Check, my knight is protected by the late square bishop. Just taking that pawn, and then could potentially even castle. Okay, so note to self: knight g4 is followed by queen h4 would be devastating. Okay, so castles c3. Okay. Yeah, the computer isn't really impressed with my attacking chances here, so I think he just, he fell into a couple things, but he didn't have to. But that happens sometimes. I mean, if you can keep up the pressure. So I do have a pin. I do have 2 nice bishops. I mean, my worst piece is this knight, which is pretty ridiculous on the corner of the board and on the edge, and it does take several moves to get it back in, but I was able to sort of do it in an interesting way in the game, I think. So the computer wanted to do this immediately. Yeah. Oh, why was I saying that I could? I was saying that I could retreat my bishop back to c7 at some point, but obviously I wasn't on this diagonal, so sorry about that. Okay, h3. I guess the computer wanted to hold this pawn instead, but I liked maintaining the pin. Felt like it created some practical problems. Yeah, knight c4 I feel like is good. I want to come over here and then in here if I can, and if he ever takes it and I get a pawn just like wedging his pawn in his territory, it's going to be pretty annoying. I guess that's why the bishop would be better on this diagonal, because if all that happens, like let's just say he makes some, oops, I can't really do it here. Let's say he made some nothing moves and I was able to get my knight here. We get that exchange, takes. There's a pawn here and the knight is attacked, but the knight in that variation would be able to come over to f4, hitting this pawn and also hitting the bishop. So I might have to then play bishop g7, but he would be able to take the bishop, which again isn't the end of the game, but we're getting further simplifications here. And then my kingside structure isn't great either. And I have one less piece to attack with. So if the bishop was already on f5, then in that whole variation it would be able to retreat back if it needed to a safer square where it couldn't get taken off the board. So maybe that's one of the reasons for bishop f5. Okay, yeah, he weakened here. Yeah, I think I was correct in assessing that this was going to be really hard to defend. I mean, a lot of people take this sacrifice just like without thinking, and maybe half the time or whatever amount of the time it's actually not right, because like I just played a game the other day where the guy did it like immediately, and really I should have defended it because that was easy for me to get out of the pin. I had another knight defending the knight, for example, on f3. I still managed to lose the game, but it shouldn't have happened, and when I looked afterwards in the analysis, I had made some really dumb mistakes. But yeah, here this seems really, really dangerous. He can't move this pawn because it's pinned at the moment. This knight is pinned. It's going to take him a couple moves to get out of this. I still have my pawn defended. If I want to lift this rook, either here or up to here, I can. Actually, I guess maybe e5 would make more sense, so I can swing it over to either file. So I don't. Yeah, this is getting worse and worse. So yeah, even taking that apparently is a blunder. That's funny. An intermediate move is preferred here by the computer, and yeah, he's got stuff under attack, and I don't even have to give up material there, I don't think, for taking that kingside pawn. Yeah, so here maintaining the pin. So there is a forced mate. And okay, this was a good starting move, yeah, because without this, then what was I saying here? Yeah, probably at some point, well, at some point he might be able to move the king and push this pawn, although that's going to be really hard with my queen coming in. Oh, I wanted to move the knight over, that's right. And if I move the knight over via e5, then this pawn is undefended. So I wanted to defend the pawn first, and I did it in the most annoying way where, it's harder. It not only protects the pawn and cuts into his position, but yeah, so this was good. This was good. Yeah, maybe he just didn't have a way to defend this. Oh, I could have just taken that. I am so dumb. Yeah, I always miss on both defensive and offensive sides this pinned pawn. Like, I even knew the pawn was pinned because I was talking about it during the game, and then I forgot that I could just snap this knight off and mate on the next move. And it comes with check, so it's just, it's lost anyway. But Yeah, I really miss this pin a lot of times, especially on defense. I've gotten this knight taken, for example, against me several times in very similar positions. But yeah, this is a pretty funny game where, like, and if I had taken that, it would have been pretty cool because instead of moving here, if I just done this, take this knight and mate, then his board would have 7 squares with pieces on the back rank, and several of them on the original squares, obviously, these 3 over here. And I would have developed all of my pieces except for the A8 rook. Wow, that's a pretty just illustrative example of how wrong this fried liver attack can go for white. Of course, he made a couple mistakes to help me out, but I made some mistakes too, so it was, it was kind of balanced in that sense. It was a pretty good game, though. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you around.